Chiefs Kingdom, we got a mailbag for you today on the Chiefs Support. My name is Jace Andrews, and I appreciate you spending this time with us. As it's times like these where I just enjoy talking to Chiefs Kingdom, and that's what we get to do today. It's my favorite part of these mailbags, just talking Chiefs and talking with you. Let's go to our first question from Ramen Noodle. Love the name, by the way. When is Ross coming back? So, Justyn Ross, technically there is two Rosses. John Ross was cut last week. Justyn Ross, which I believe the one you're talking about, he actually had his charges dropped this past Monday now, a couple weeks back, and he is not off the commissioner's exempt list yet. So he cannot return until he is off there. As of now, he's not on practices. He can't play in games, anything like that. We don't have an exact date on if he will come back at all, really, to be honest. He can come back as soon as he is removed from that commissioner's exempt list. As of right now, though, that is really not even talked about. Hopefully, though, he can come back. He would probably slot right back into his spot in the wide receiver core, given the, let's say, questionable play from a couple of different players. Second question coming in here from Cole Kelher, saying, is Pacheco going to be suspended? Because if so, that makes the Chiefs running back room dangerously thin. He will not. He did throw a punch, but there's been no talk of suspension. Honestly, it was just frustration at that time. And if you think back to the timing of that punch, Pacheco looked back and saw the Packers defense running the opposite way, which would have been a touchdown, and the game would have been over, and he just got pissed and threw a punch. It wasn't really like a malicious punch, like, yeah, he threw it, but I don't think it's one he gets suspended for, and there has been no talk of that at all from what I'm hearing. So he should be okay, but like you said, if he did get suspended, it'd be thin because Jerick McKinnon, well, he's been out the past 2 weeks. Hopefully he'll be back this week with Pacheco and obviously CEH. Next question coming from Terry Singleton. Do you think that Patrick Mahomes has lost confidence in his receivers? A little bit. I'm not going to say that I think he's lost all confidence in them, but there's definitely a divide right now between him and his wideouts. Why do I say that? Because there's just times where he looks like he doesn't want to throw the ball. He just kind of holds it for longer than I think he should. And that's partly because he's trying to make a play. It's also partly because, well, I don't know if he trusts everybody to catch the ball. There's been drops. There's been problems with, obviously, the pass interference call now. So that adds another layer to it. There's just a lot going on with that. I don't think he's lost confidence, but I definitely think he's a little more, let's say, safe with the ball in terms of trying to throw it to different receivers. We're going to another question here from Billy Bob Joe saying, what 2024 free agent should the Chiefs go after? I like this question because I think it opens up the discussion of, first of all, what position they should go after, and ultimately who I believe could work. We've talked about a lot of them over the past couple of weeks. We had a free agent video going back last week, so you can go check that out if you want to. But for now, I'm going to talk about two wide receivers that I think we should look at. The first one being T. Higgins. He's going to cost a lot more money because, honestly, his market value right now, it sits around the $25 to $30 million range. That's not much, that's a lot when your cap space is only at $31 million coming up. Obviously, there's cut candidates like MVS. Maybe you're not going to sign back Chris Jones because obviously he would take up a lot of that money as well. But he would be a cool option. Then I actually had two wide receivers after this. You have Marquise Brown and Curtis Samuel. Both guys are having really exceptional years, and both could honestly go in here and fill a really good spot on this wide receiver core because they're both fast. They're both gadget guys. I think both of them would fit, and they're both pretty cheap. Marquise Brown would run you about $8 to $10 million. And then right now, I looked at the value earlier today. Curtis Samuel, they're saying his market value is at $5 million per year. That's a steal for a guy that every now and then has a 100-yard game and 2 touchdowns. I like what I've seen from Curtis Samuel. Tell you what, like this video if you want the Chiefs to beat the Bills. We got the game coming up here on Sunday. I want you to like this video to help me out and help the Chiefs out and help this Chiefs team propel to victory because it's a big game. You need that victory to help try and secure that number 1 seed in the AFC. Plus, on top of it, if you win, you're probably bouncing the Bills out of the playoffs for good. That's a pretty nice thing to do. So hit that like button. We'd surely appreciate it. Tony Fuentes coming in here with a question saying, how can the Chiefs get better ready to go against a very good Bills team? I don't know if there's a way to prepare for the Bills because they're so different than a lot of teams, specifically because of Josh Allen. Now, with that being said, you have it at Arrowhead. It's going to be a home game. So you got to use that crowd to your advantage. You got to feel them in your chest. Feel them in your heart and go out there and play for them. But Josh Allen, there's a guy, he has turnover problems, but he can flip a game on its head. You got Gabe Davis, you got Stephon Diggs. I'm not really worried about the running game. James Cook hasn't been exactly what he was advertised to be in the preseason, and now kind of seeing the true form of him now. I think that's not really a big of a worry, but defense, a little overrated as well. Prepare to be better is just score. You got to go out there and score and try and hopefully make this Bills offense not do too much against the defense. Next question coming in here from DJ saying, sign a wide receiver or draft another wide receiver in 2044 in the offseason. Here's what I like. Do both. Do both. Wide receiver is the position that I think you're most thin at right now. And if you look at the free agents for the Chiefs, Chris Jones, so you're losing him, but George Karlaftis has been amazing this year. In fact, has more sacks than Chris Jones. You have Drew Tranquill, who you'd like to sign back. You have Willie Gay, who you'd like to sign back. But you're going to have Nick Bolton. That linebacker room is not going to exactly just fall off a cliff. So I think you maybe spend a little money on a wide receiver in free agency. I like Curtis Samuel, like I mentioned, because he's cheap, so you could get him and potentially a defensive option as well. And then go out there in the second round and draft somebody. Who's the best wide receiver that the Chiefs have had all year? It's been Rashee Rice. You know when you drafted him? The second round. Plus, this wide receiver draft class is super, super thick. You got Rome Odunze. You got Adonai Mitchell. You got Xavier Worthy. There's a lot of guys that either you pick late in the first round or potentially make a little bit of a trade, go early in the second round with them. There's a lot of guys I like that I think could really fit well with this team. Next question here, James Ramos. It's clear that we will still need a number one wide receiver. Who would you like to see from free agency in 2024 to be signed to the Chiefs? Kind of like I mentioned, Marquise Brown, T. Higgins, along with potentially Curtis Samuel. Those are the three that I'm probably looking at the most. Everybody else is kind of just either too expensive or really doesn't fit the Chiefs' play style. But I'll tell you what, you want to go see a new wide receiver that the Chiefs will have either next year or go see the Chiefs and hopefully watch them go back-to-back here in the Super Bowl. You can get your tickets at Game Time. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you, as you shouldn't have to worry about buying tickets in. Guess what? Game Time allows you to not have to worry by giving you the peace of mind with their best price guarantee. They have last-minute tickets deals, flash deals, zone deals. Plus, it's easy to find and buy your tickets. In fact, you can do it in less than a couple clicks. You go in, you look through the app, you can see exactly clearly user-friendly. They tell you the cheapest ticket. They tell you where exactly you're going to be sitting. It's super easy, super fun, and ultimately, the best part about it, it's the best ticketing app by far. Listen, there's a lot of stress in this ticket buying experience world now. But with Game Time, no stress at all. Go in there, 2 clicks, boom, you got your tickets. Plus, if you use our code ChiefsChat, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. $20 off, man. That's super, super good. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChiefsChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code CHIEFSCHAT for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, the lowest price guaranteed. Ed Griffin, please go over the linebacker situation for the Bills game. I like this question. It's a topic that I actually thought about bringing up here, but here's kind of what we're looking at as of right now. You have the first one being Drew Tranquill. He is in concussion protocol. If I had to bet, I doubt we see him there on this upcoming week. You have Nick Bolton, who has been practicing. We'll have to see if he's fully ready to go or if he's a game-time decision, what exactly happens there. Now, Willie Gay should be healthy, and they got Leo Chenal and Jack Cochran. Both those guys were the ones who filled in this past Sunday against the Packers. Chenal moved to middle linebacker, and Jack Cochran went to that right outside. So how exactly does now we rotate this? Well, you hope to have Nick Bolton back because then you have your starting linebacker squad. The original starters for the Chiefs were Willie Gay, you have Nick Bolton, and Leo Chenal. Nick Bolton has been out, so you've had to have Drew Tranquill here. Now Drew Tranquill is out, so you got to hopefully put in Nick Bolton right there at that middle linebacker position, and hopefully you should be fine. You'll be thin in terms of depth, but you should have your starting linebackers all ready to go. Bill Chase comes in with this question, saying, hey, Jace, have you checked out my very first mock draft for the 2024 season? Because I tweeted it to your ex. Let me know if you think. Bill, I have not seen it, but I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to go look for that after today's show. I'm starting to get a mock draft season. I got to be honest. Like, we're 5 games away here, and not that I want to worry about the draft because I want to see the Super Bowl happen first, but I think it's fun to just do mock drafts, especially now the college football season is pretty much, into bowl season now. Regular season's done. We kind of see who the top draft prospects are. You see people starting to sit out from these bowl games. It'd be super fun to kind of see the mock draft. So I'll go check it out. I'll tell you right after this video. Tell you what, though. If you want the Chiefs, or rather, will the Chiefs make the Super Bowl? I got to know. Because I told you, mock drafts are fun, but I don't want to worry about it until the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl. But can they even do it? Well, let me know. Type Y for yes if the Chiefs can make the Super Bowl. If you think they can't, well, then type in for no. I think this could be a split decision here. If the Chiefs could make it, or maybe if the Chiefs could not make it. So we will talk about that, as it's a tough one, but let me know in the comment section why for yes and for no. Kool-Aid coming with this question, saying, why are we not letting Rashee Rice run deep? It's a good question. The average yardage of passes down the field to Rashee Rice this past week, 1. That was the average of passing down the field to Rashee Rice. That's how much yards. Mostly because he had screen pass galore. There was 3 screen passes I can think of off the top of my head. I don't get it. Let the guy run on the field. He has an insane vertical and wasn't in the Hail Mary attempt. His speed is something to be reckoned with, and yet you never send him downfield. I'm questioning that decision as well, my guy. I really don't understand what exactly what Andy's thinking. At this point, you can't give the rookie excuse. Man, you're almost done with the season. He's not a rookie anymore. Like, he is still a rookie in terms of label. He's been here for a while. Let him go. Let him go. Take the reins off. DJ with another question saying, if you don't bring back Chris Jones, who can the Chiefs sign or draft that can replace Jones? So there's a couple options that I think you could go with. So honestly, I don't even think you need to replace him, though. You like Karlaftis. And anybody who is going to be the size of Chris Jones, the presence that Chris Jones has, it's going to cost you a good portion. And your cap space is limited. And I think it's not worth it to sign a defensive lineman when you've already seen that guys like Mike Dana, George Karlaftis, Derek Nottie, they're really picking up the pace. Now, I know that takes out a presence of Chris Jones, but hopefully the Chiefs get him back. But honestly, if he leaves, I don't think it's worth it to sign him. Sign another guy or waste the draft pick. I think you have to see what this defensive line could do without him, given how amazing they have been this year. The only thing they've been somewhat bad at is their run defense, but that's just kind of something that you just got to work on in the offseason. That's not anything that Chris Jones is going to hurt or help there. Next question coming in from Eric Wallen saying, I think the Chiefs look like the number 1 seed. With all of the quarterbacks are out on the good teams, and Baltimore doesn't do well in postseason. I agree. I think ultimately it still looks like the Chiefs can be the number 1 seed. Miami has their quarterback, but their defense, oh my gosh, it can be bad sometimes. The Ravens are good. They don't have Mark Andrews, and we've known their playoff history. The Jaguars now, obviously Trevor Lawrence with a high ankle sprain. He should be good to go by the playoffs, but still, you have the leverage on them. Steelers and Pickett, they're not even good with Pickett, so don't get me started. Deshaun Watson, I don't get it, man. The Chiefs should be the number 1 seed, and they're not. They're not. I think that's just the plain fact right now. Hopefully that can change in the upcoming days. Chad Jameson comes in with this question saying, how many new wide receivers will be on the roster next season? I'm going to go with 3. I'm going to say you cut MVS. I'm going to say you draft one, you sign one, and you maybe make a trade in the draft for one. Maybe you're trading like a fifth rounder for somebody. That could potentially be it. I'm going to say 3, though. I'm going to say you draft one, you sign one, and you trade for one. All 3. Let's go with that. So I'm going to go 3 there. You're cutting MVS, though. I'm pretty certain about that. Next question here from Richard P. saying, how many free agents will we have at the end of the season? So I'm going to rattle off some names here. If I miss anybody, forgive me, but Leo Chenal is one of them. You have Willie Gay Jr., you got Drew Tranquill, you got Chris Jones. Those are a lot on the defensive side. MVS is signed under contract. Kadarius Toney is signed under contract. Defensively, that's where it gets kind of questionable. Nick Bolton is still on contract, but overall, I think there is around, let's say, 35. Sam, you got the answer?
The exact number, according to Spotrac right now, 24 free agents total.
There you go.
3 of them are exclusive rights free agents, which basically means they'll be back.
Correct.
And then 3 players, I believe, are restricted free agents. Malik Herring, Jody Fortson, who's on IR, and Prince Tega Wanago.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. 24 with the shout out from Sam to get the exact number. But the big names, like I said, Chris Jones is going to be the big one, along with Drew Tranquil. He had that 1-year deal. I'd like to see him back as well. Willie Gay Jr., linebacker room could be a little thin, depending on who you sign back. But 24, shout out to Sam with the extra help there. All right, a few minutes at the end of the video. We appreciate you. I know this was somewhat of a longer one, but man, I just like talking Chiefs with y'all. I got to be honest. I get into my Chiefs talking mode, and, well, I could do this all day. But unfortunately, I got to stop here. We appreciate y'all watching. And if you're a real one and have made it to the end of the video, you know what to do. Type real one. We appreciate you, Chiefs Kingdom. Peace out.